Good afternoon, folks. It's Monday and here I am at Langtoft surrounded by Holbrook bits, but no bed and no legs, because we've been playing Volvo coil packs. So there you go. And it looks like it's not a coil pack, it looks like it's an injector. So I'm going to nip up to Keith now. We're going to watch the instructional about taking your injector out and cleaning it, and then we're going to do it. So that'll hopefully get it going. But the people where the ladies are in all week, so it's not a problem, and I can go and get it any day. So this morning, not being able to resist it, I had a quick scratch at the table here, and the rust just floats off. I mean, there are bits that'll need to go on the wire wheel. This is a bit wappy. Looks like there's no bearing in there proper, and this handle needs badly cleaning up, and may not be the original, but who knows. It's not got a nut on there for some reason. It's been anchored with that bolt, so that needs to be repaired. There's also this. This is the front of the screw cutting and feed gearbox. Now that looks right and this looks right, but this is loose for some reason, and I don't know why. I also noticed that's been brazed, but it looks like it's been made a very good job of, so that's neither here nor there. But I'm going to have to do something with that by the look of it. That doesn't look genuine either. That looks like that's been made and fitted. But generally speaking, I mean, the quality of build on this lathe and the quality of the finish. I mean, apparently all this is surface ground. And I mean, look at the size of the bronzes on the headstock. They're just magnificent. What a monster! And somebody said on the Holbrook group, it's a wonder Holbrook ever made any money. Well, they did, and like a lot of companies, unfortunately, they were taken over by Alfred Herbert from Coventry, and Alfred Herbert became the big British machine tool manufacturer. In fact, at one time it was the biggest machine tool manufacturer in Europe, if not the world. And of course, the market took a downturn. Alfred Herbert's was, I mean, there'll be all sorts of people tell all sorts of different stories, but the way I've looked at it, Alfred Herbert's was too big to survive. I think they employed something like 6,000 people at plants all over the country, making all sorts of things. But they'd taken over Asquith and Edgewick and Stirk and all sorts of other companies. And of course, when it went, it was just like a domino effect, or a snowball effect, whichever, and the whole lot went and took out poor old Holbrook. But I mean, the quality of the Holbrook products, I mean, this is the only one I've ever pulled to pieces, but they are fabulous. I mean, that, as I've probably told you this before, but this drill here, this is badged Herbert, Alfred Herbert, but who knows where it was made. It could have been made by Asquith, it could have been made anywhere. When I get it in pieces, I'll have a close look over it, see if I can find out, but there you go. That's a future project. At the moment, I want to get the bed and the legs here. I want to get the bed and the legs painted, the bed cleaned up and stood in a corner, and then I can start cleaning the parts up, doing the repairs, fitting new bushes and putting it back together. I don't want to make this a lengthy, a really long job. I want to get it cleaned up. I mean, obviously the headstock's going to have to come to pieces, which means I'm going to have to make a ring spanner to fit round there, because that's got 1, 2, 3. Yes, that's got 3 slots in it, so I need to make a ring spanner with 3 pegs in it, really, to get that off, because apparently they are very tight. I need to take that off for 2 reasons. I need to clean that up, and also the pin that anchors the collets, that locates the collets in there, is sheared off, and I've been told they very often are, so there you go. But We have no missing teeth, we have no even chips teeth, so very pleased with that. And they do use phosphor bronze like it's going out of fashion. Right, I'm freezing cold, although it's nicer. The weather's taken a turn for the better, it's warmer outside, the sun is shining, most of the snow's gone, and I'm going up to Keys for a cup of tea. So I'll catch you all probably tomorrow. And what I intend to do tomorrow is if we do get it done okay and we go for the lathe tomorrow, I'll take you along with me and just get some footage of the final move out the shed. Okay, bye now. Well, we've done it. I didn't film anything at the other end because it was just too bloody fraught. This bed and its integral tray are incredibly heavy. We had to leave the other hydraulic lifting dripping. We've got to go back for it now, right? And we parked the trailer down there, down at the bottom of the yard. Can you see it? Yeah, we parked the trailer there, parked the trailer down there. We put this hydraulic lift next to it, took the tailgate off, slid it onto the hydraulic lift, which has fairly small casters, and then the three of us managed to tack up that bloody slope. And this is an incredibly steep slope. We managed to tack backwards and forwards up and down the slope, which was Michael's idea. Right? That's the point, they can't see. And we've done it. We've got it here. In fact, I think I can probably centre it up on there and get the legs back on. I was going to turn it over and paint the underside, but I am not going to. I'm going to put the legs back on and I'm going to paint the underside with it on its legs because it's so bloody heavy and I dare not turn it on its side. God knows how much it weighs. But two of us couldn't lift it. Two of us, we put this strap around it, we put a scaffold tube through it and got one either end and we could not lift it. We could just about get it to slide along the ground, which is what we did. So there you are, people. It is actually back in the workshop and all safe. Thank goodness. Okay, catch you later. Bye now. That's it, peeps. Tuesday, 5:15. All is safely gathered in. Pair of legs and an enormously heavy bed. My God, they didn't half used to make those, didn't they? Ridiculous. Right, I can leave it on there. I can take that straight up in the air. I can put the legs back on, and from then on, this floor is super smooth. And all I need to do is to stick one or the other of the hydraulic platforms underneath it, and I can move it around the workshop, wheel it around the workshop. So that should be okay. That should be okay. I've got the coolie platform back in. That's back in over there. So now I need tomorrow a massive tidy up and a sort out. But now I'm going to go home because I'm thoroughly worn out. Okay, peeps, I'll catch you tomorrow. Bye now. Good morning, folks, or should I say good afternoon? It's Wednesday afternoon. New coil for 2CV, NGK. Very good indeed. There we are. Exactly like the old one. Same shape, comes complete with mounting brackets and bolts and everything. And it wasn't too bad, 30 quid, 29 quid or something like that. So I can't complain at that at all. Quite cheap. So here we are. This is what we've got to deal with today. I've got to have a really thorough, ongoing sort out and tidy up of stuff. And I need to get rid of a load of stuff that I really do not need anymore. So that's what I'm going to do today. It's gone, it's about 2:30, so I'm only going to get a couple of 2.5 hours, but I need to do something. I need to make more space and get rid of junk. Right? That Krypton tuner really, I only have one use for it now, and that's Dear Brothers Austin Champ. because it doesn't, of course, work with anything post-electronic era. It's for pre-electronic. It's for cars with distributors and ignition coils and stuff like that. But I mean, they cost a fortune. Cost a fortune, those things, when they were new. So there you go. So that's got to go somewhere. That's got to go somewhere. This welder really I should sell. That's what I did it. That's what I repaired it for. The choice was either fix it or chuck it, and I fixed it. And it's a bloody good welder now. It's 3-phase. It's a 3-phase MIG, 200 amp MIG. But there's much other stuff. See, I normally stand the Krypton tuner in there, and that gets that out of the way. But I'm trying to get organised. Right, I'll bring you back if I do anything interesting ever in the rest of my life. Bye now. Right, folks, Wednesday afternoon, 4:30. I have had a bit of a tidy up, but I'm going to do more tomorrow. And I've just had of course I got dragged into this, didn't I? I just couldn't resist it. So I've had an initial clean. I won't call it any more than that. I've given the bed an initial clean and light stoning, and so far I've only picked up one. That ding there, can you see that by my finger? That ding there was quite high. It's now been riffle filed, stoned, and it's now gone. Right, those two also. These this is a part of the this is the V that carries the tailstock. The tailstock's never going to be this far down the bed. The headstock starts there, so the tailstock's never going to be that far down the bed. So that V is largely redundant there. This, what you can see on there, is just unsightly. There's a few striations on the back flat, which is what the saddle runs on, but as far as that goes, they're not that deep. They're more unsightly than anything. Now, I don't have a straight edge that is reliable. The straightest straight edge I've got is the underside of my virtually brand new Raybone Chesterman Engineers level, and with that I cannot get a 1 thou feeler gauge under it without it trapping. So I know that there is very little wear on there, and I think with a little bit, I mean, already I would say 60% of them are gone. There is, I don't know if you can catch, it's very difficult to see if you can catch it in the light, but I'll just give you a view. This is original flaking, this is original flaking, this is original flaking, and up at the end there is original. Can you see there? Can you catch that in the light somewhere? There is original flaking on there. So it's probably not done a lot, I would say. I mean, you've got to expect some sort of wear on a lathe that was probably made in 1933. So you've got to expect that if it's at all been used, there is some wear. And I've much to my Holbrook chums will be disgusted, but there is a flaw on this lathe, and the flaw is it has no bed wipers. Right, and that is why it's showing the striations on the back. If it had felt bed wipers fitted, this wouldn't have been able to get underneath the slide, but that's what's caused it. But it's not bad, and I've looked at the slide, and the slide's not bad either. So what we're going to have to do is set it up with the test bar and see if it's serious. And to be honest, I don't think it will be at all. It looks, the front V is incredibly good on the outside, but on the inside, I don't know if you'll see that. On the inside there is a single deep score mark all the way along there, which is the area where the saddle works, of course. But other than that, she's in remarkably good condition. As I say, if you look on there, on this way here, there is flaking visible, virtually the full length of it. Virtually the full length, certainly at that end. There's flaking visible up there. There's still, actually, in this area here that is worn, there is still flaking visible. So I'm not too concerned that there's anything seriously wrong with the bed. as I said, these are dings that are or were swollen out, but I've removed them for cosmetic reasons. That V will never be used in this position, so there you go. But you would expect that the saddle position, which is virtually that bit is the working part, would have some wear, but it's very little, so I'm quite pleased. I've scraped as much of the rust off the front as I could with a single edge razor blade. I'll probably have a go at that tomorrow. I'm going to take my jerry cans with me and get some I'll probably get 5 gallons of diesel and 5 gallons of petrol, because I'll be doing this with I'll be doing the cleaning up on the bed with using diesel, given the fact that it's much cheaper than paraffin and virtually the same thing. So I should just use some ordinary road diesel for the cleaning and shining of the metalwork. And once that's done, then I can get it back on its legs, clean the chip tray out, and have a look at putting some paint on it. But as I say, I'm going to have a complete reorganising in the workshop, and I need to tidy up and I need to get rid of stuff. Right, that's it for today, folks, because I'm going to be heading off home soon. I got waylaid this morning, first job to go shopping, and then second job to pop my daughter around the corner to the Crown expensive paint shop and buy some Crown expensive paint. 2.5 litres, 28 quid, silk emulsion. I mean, it's a very nice colour, it's what she wanted, but it's a bit expensive, but times are hard for them, I suppose, and they won't be giving much discount to anybody at the moment. So there you go. Right, I'm going to call it a day for today. There it is, a Holbrook bed, coming clean at last. See you all later, bye now. Right folks, Wednesday, tidying up is going apace. I'm going to just slide that under the lathe there with on a couple of blocks so I can slide underneath it when I want to use it. Dehumidifier is tucked away in there. Got my really nice chuck and faceplate stand there. I can get something else under there for storage as well. So we're going apace, and every day and everywhere we're getting better and better. Right, I'm going to carry on, and I'll bring you back towards the end of the day and show you what I've been doing. Okay, bye now. Right folks, well, I've had a brief recap of the week, and I think it must be Thursday, but I'm really not sure. So we're making leaps and bounds. We've got this area tidy, albeit it has a lot of stuff in it that's coming out again. We've got the valve grinder under there, and I've put out feelers to get rid of this. I was going to keep that oven because I have nothing to just bang stuff in to heat it up, and that would just plug straight into 30 amp plug. I don't know what to do with it. So we've done it more or less. I have to go home a bit early tonight to get to Driffield for 4:45, so I'm off in a minute. But there we go. It's all looking a lot better. Tractor's not staying there, of course. This is just to sweep up. This is going outside into the loop, and then I shall start on the bench and in there where there's a mess. I lit the boiler today. The boiler and these overalls do not go together. It gets very much too warm. How are we doing? Oh, we're just burning down lovely. Okay, because I have to go in about half an hour. Nip back to Driffield. Right then, I'll see you all tomorrow, which apparently has got to be Friday, because I knew I didn't pick that up yesterday. I picked it up on Tuesday, so yesterday had to be Wednesday, and today's got to be Thursday. Right, at least I think so. Right, catch you all later, peeps. It will all be tidy again. It will all be wonderful. Bye now. Hello folks, it's Friday. It's just gone 4 o'clock. and we've had another secondary clean at the bed. It is getting there, but there's a lot of more scraping to do. It's turned a lot of brass before it was painted, because underneath the paint there's a load of brass filings. There's an interesting little thing down there in the corner. That looks like a piece of square wire, which has been something to do with the casting process, because it's been left cast in to the bed. So there you go. That's interesting, isn't it? Yawn. Right. Anything else? There's been another plate on there. Now, whether it's been a supplied by plate or not, I don't know. I'll have an investigate and see if that's actually got tapped threads in it. But I would say that's been a supplied by plate. The webs are very tarry and dirty, but I can scrape most of this off and then I'll finish them off with solvent. These huge lumps sticking to the, can you see them there? There's huge lumps sticking to the bed. They're actually not rough casting, they're actually just lumps of goo and paint and all sorts, and as you can see from that, most of it does scrape off. There isn't any real way of getting this bed spotless unless you know anybody that's got a 6-foot ultrasonic cleaner that'll take a bed, a lathe bed. I haven't done this back here yet, but to be honest, a lot of what I thought was rust on the front of the bed actually turned out to be just hardened oil. I'd like to say it was cutting oil, but I don't think it was, because there isn't any trace of it actually on the pan. But she's all okay. I've continued my massive tidy up. I've developed a Holbrook parts store under there, and I'm getting there. It's getting better. The workshop's getting tidier. I've got to get rid of that thing. I've developed vacuum cleaner corner over there, where I'm putting all my waiting for repair vacuums, which I should get on with, really, shouldn't I? I should get on with everything. I'm going to have to start doing longer days here at 9 o'clock in the morning and grafting all day. I've had a tidy up in the end place here, but I'm thinking that what I might do in that corner behind all those strimmers, in that corner, as I was saying, I don't know why that stopped, behind all these strimmers is, under that sheet blanket, is a pressure wash, a very nice Kent pressure washer, 3-phase, which I have yet to use, which I rebuilt a few years ago. It's, I believe, in my one of my previous videos. I'm thinking about getting that out of there, and also getting some other stuff out of there, and putting my rust remover brew, which is brewing very well. I had it all to pieces when I brought the lathe bed in to make some more room. I took it all to pieces, and it's actually really brewing very well, and it smells for all the world like gorgeous cider, but I can't drink any of it because there was all sorts in those barrels, and there's been all sorts in those barrels, so I can't even sample it. But never mind, but it's brewing very well. It's got a nice fizz on the top of it. So there you go. So I'd like to move that into that corner out of the way, but that of course means I've got to put the pressure wash somewhere. Right, so it's an ongoing process, but I've got to make more space and I've got to start getting rid of stuff. The problem is, as usual, I keep getting dragged into Holbrooks. Yeah, that's alright, I'm not putting any more wood on there, it's almost home time. I keep getting dragged into Holbrooks and thinking, I'll just clean that up. I'll just run that across the wire wheel. I'll just do this, and you get nothing done. You get loads of little jobs done, but you get nothing done. I managed to get the chuck out of the tailstock using the 3-spanner method. Falls over toolbox. What a bloody mess in here. Very useful things are spanners. You put 3 together like that and just go like that, and you've got a very strong lever, very powerful lever. Get things apart no end easily. Very easily with that. Which is the metric one? That's the metric one. Those two are BS ones, right. So there you go, folks. So that's Friday, just about done. And next week I'm going to crack on. I'm going to slide that out of the way, maybe put some solvent on it to get it clean, slide it back over to the doors over there, and carry on with the tractor. I picked this up the other day, and I don't know if I can make it do it now, but all this, you see, there, look how flexible that is. Now I thought this when I said, oh, it's something somebody's welded up. Well, it is something that somebody's welded up, I think. And then I looked at it and thought, just a minute, all these corners are actually bolted together, right? And there's obviously that reinforcing piece there has been put in to try and stop it doing that. So I think what we have here is something that needs, that's a proper motor plate. I'm pretty sure that's a proper motor plate. Well, at least it looks well made. I'm going to have a look at this, and I think the bearings are probably big enough. That needs a damn good clean up. I think the bearings are probably big enough. The pulley, that if you bought that pulley nowadays, that would be very expensive, because it's a taper lock, isn't it? Yes, it's a Fenner taper lock pulley. I used to fit loads of them. In fact, it's a Fenner whole pulley complete. It's not just a taper, it's a taper lock pulley, not a pulley with a taper lock in the middle of it. So there you go. So this is going to need a strip and a rebuild. The legs, pretty good. I've even got all the original Holbrook washers. I thought I'd lost one, but I hadn't. It's stuck in there. They just needed really a clean up and a paint. I'll probably take the starter off there because it's a bit lower down and I prefer the starter higher up. But there you go. But as you can see, they've been hammerized on the inside, and it depends on whether it's been done onto clean metal or clean paint, or whether it's been done onto greasy paint, as to whether it'll come off or not. But the thing is, if it's been done onto greasy paint, like on the bed, it'll come off easily. So I've got the I hope these clips are working. I don't know what's going on with this camera. I'm going to have to check this out. But there's a headstock that needs stripping down. As I said, I'm going to make a ring spanner to go around there. I mean, everybody suggested a C spanner, but I think the first thing you'd do with a C spanner is you would ruin the edge of this bronze nut. Likewise with that one. That's got, yeah, they've got three. I'll have to check that. I'll have to check the diameter and see if I can get one. I have a friend in Driffield who laser cuts steel at a very nice engineering works called Shields, and they make process equipment for foodstuffs and food factories and mills and things like that. And they're nice people, and they'll if I take them I'll have to make a pattern. I could even take that in, let them measure it. Now I can make a pattern accurately enough to that. Right, and then we've got a proper spanner for doing the job with. I think if you use a peg spanner, I mean, the Holbrook aficionados say, oh, you get an adjustable peg spanner, but putting all that power, and they also said it will be very tight. Putting all that energy onto one slot when there's three is a bit silly, but it turns very well. One thing I have noticed that they'll probably know, this says fill with oil. This is one of those turn oilers, right? That oil doesn't do anything. It runs straight into the bottom of the gearbox, as far as I can see. There appears to be no drain plug that I can see at the moment, and yet, is there a drain plug on that side? No, there isn't. The only drain plug that would drain it is the stud that also holds it in. which is that one, and I assume that that does go right through. Let me just have a little go with a... No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't go right through. So I asked myself, that doesn't go right through. There would... It doesn't seem to make any sense at all. The oil would just drain straight down into there and hang around in the bottom. Now if you're supposed to fill it with oil up to the top of there, I can see that it very easily that would splash and oil everything in the gearbox. But yet, it doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. If you put it into there, it drops straight out of that hole, which goes into there like that. That's that way up. Drops straight out of that hole and goes straight into the bottom. So you'd have to fill the bottom up with oil for anything to get oiled. Anyway, there's an inquiry for the Holbrook whiz kids. See what they know. See what they know. So that's okay. That's on there. That's fine. Right. That's the. I put that tape around just to hold the plunger in. There's a plunger detent that goes on there. Right. And that sorts that out. The nose is in good condition, the nose thread is in good condition. I was horrified when I first took it off because I thought most of it was missing, but it's not. It's actually got a double register on it, which is good gear. There we are. So, oops, that's not anything Holbrook, don't worry. That's not a Holbrook component, that's just a bolt that somebody found and said, here, I'll give you that. See a bolt, pick it up, and all day long you'll have a bolt. There you go, folks. So, an anticlimactic end to the week. I've had fun. I've enjoyed. I hope you enjoy as well. I hope you'll send me some comments. I hope you'll subscribe. I hope you'll subscribe and ring the bell. And next week is another week. The weather is improving. That's what I was going to say. The weather is improving. It's probably just getting a bit eveningish like. It's been raining today, but oh, that sky looks foreboding, doesn't it? It's nice and warm in here, and it's got a lot warmer. I don't think there's any chance of snow. I think winter is over, and touch Holbrook bed, I think spring's coming. Now we could all do with a bit of that, couldn't we? Right, so next week I am not going to touch the Holbrook. Actually, I might split my time half and half between the Holbrook and the tractor. I don't know, we'll see. Okay people, I'll catch you all next week. Thanks for watching, subscribe, and I'll see you all next week. Bye now.